Break up, break down, break in, break even.
I told you not to touch it. I told you not to touch it. I told you not to touch it. You broke it. I told you not to touch it. I told you not to touch it. I told you not to touch it. You broke it. I told you
Know that I cut out every time you do that.
Oh yeah, I love it. I want it to be a really obvious cut, and then and you still leaving, you going no.
Well, did I tell you when we had Enemy of the Podcast on briefly, I almost like bleeped him out, but I figured that he didn't say enough for it to make any sense.
Oh, man.
It would have ruined your excellent joke of me having him hand deliver Yakuza 0.
Yakuza 0.
0.
Also known as Like a Dragon 0.
Like a dragon. Like a dragon 0.
Like a Dragon 0 X edition. I went Italian there.
No, I'm Italian.
It's a me,
Kind of
Yakuza
may as well.
Zero.
Okay. You can introduce us.
Welcome to the breakup. I am your co-host, Jacob Waskow.
I am your co-host, Sam Young. Oh, we're saying full names this week. Okay.
We're being professional today.
Very professional.
After a small hiatus of having you play a game for a long time.
Yeah, it took me a while.
And I literally read your suggestion that night.
Yeah. He texted me right after saying, Red 3, catch up.
It was,
It's not long. It is like the length of a comic book.
and I didn't need to, take too much time to digest it. Get all of that comic goodness settled inside the square of my belly, all in that meat space.
So you have a square stomach. That would explain a lot of things.
We do not need to go into the crazy medical details that is my guts, because that is its own podcast. Jacob Waskow's HBO-style life, starring Jacob Waskow, a sad panda.
Featuring Crohn's disease.
Featuring Jesse Cowell.
Featuring Jesse Cowell. Yeah, he's always in there somehow. Parasite,
always.
like a lamprey.
He plays the role of Crohn's disease.
Oh, of course. He personifies it. He punches you constantly. He just punches you in the stomach constantly.
And it pans out to another Jesse Cowell eating steak. Very fine steak as it zooms into his chewing mouth.
It kind of turns into a Being John Malkovich thing after a while.
Well, I really regret being introduced to David Lynch at all, in the slightest.
Interesting.
That just tells me I can be as lazy as I want to be as a film writer and director. And do whatever the fuck I want.
You ascribe just like madness to laziness.
No, the other way around. I ascribe laziness to madness.
Oh, that's true, yes. So is it my turn to go first this week, or is it your... No, it's your turn to go first.
No, I went first last
No,
time.
I did, because I did One Punch Man and horribly disappointed you.
Oh, yeah. I'm still disappointed in you.
I know. I listened back to that episode. You can tell the exact moment where your heart breaks. There's this moment where you just go, you go, you didn't like it. and cue the smallest violin in the world.
The defeated. You didn't like it.
But we're laughing now.
Well, you're laughing now. I'm still sad. So, Sam, buddy, Bubba, what'd you make me do?
I made you read. Guess I was going to call it a graphic novel, but I don't think it's long enough. I made you read the comic We Three by, I think it's...
I'd call it a graphic novel.
Yeah, sure. Graphic novel. By Grant Morrison, I think, and someone else.
I don't do after research like you do. I do enough of that in my real world life. So I'm just going to have to assume you're right on this. Future Sam, edit in the correct name.
Post-production Sam, insert name here.
So I guess this is the part where I give an actual sort of summary.
Yeah.
So We Three is a comic about these three biomechanical killing machines that escape from a lab. The wacky hijinks they get up to, which involves a lot of murder, and the great funny dynamic that these three biomechanical monstrosities are all pets. One's a rabbit, one's a cat, and one's a dog. I'm contractually obligated to say it like that.
Jacob is contractually obligated to be sarcastic about just about everything, so don't take it personally.
It's a dog.
You got so sarcastic there, you cut out the audio.
The evil military men who want to cancel their program wants to cancel their program, so they escape. And they decide the best thing to do is just run constantly and continue to talk in cutesy robot voices and things. And God, I'm really straining to stretch this.
I think that's enough. I think that's, without like going into spoilers, I think that's the gist of it.
Spoiling it. Well, okay, not so spoiler. This is a bloody comic.
It is a bloody comic.
Like, this is not even like ultra violence. This is that good old-fashioned 90s viscera violence, where there's blood that looks like dark cherry jello splattered everywhere. I think there's fecal matter at a few points. It's just like, oh man, it's the 90s in comic book form. So Sam, why do you like this?
I like it because it's sort of a sad story, and it's really good about creating empathy for these characters, and it's kind of sweet. That's most of it.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I felt no empathy to these characters. I felt zero empathy whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a confession. I kind of figured you'd be whatever about this. Like, I pulled this one out of my ass because I completely forgot to come up with something last time. So like,
I think let's parse this out here. I think it depends on whether or not you inherently love animals.
Ah, interesting.
If you are a person who just immediately you see an animal and you're like, oh, I love this thing, then this is a great empathetic, oh man, these poor animals fighting for their lives despite being killing machines and murdering lots of people. These poor things, they were circumstantially nightmarish. It's not their fault. They're fighting in self-defense. So,
Jacob Waskow, circumstantial nightmare.
I'm mostly a nightmare if you think about it.
Yeah, in the right context, he's a total nightmare, but otherwise he's fine.
This is the second comic you've shown me, isn't this right, Sam?
Yeah, because it was the webcomic before.
Yeah, that great webcomic anthology, which I
back in episode 4.
How much that I loved the art style
Yes.
of. I gotta say, that was a great, beautiful art style that you sent me. And here I see so many similarities between that comic then and this one now in terms of line work and use of color that made me think, wow, this is really ugly.
What art do you like, motherfucker? Like, explain this to me. What is it you object to?
The point of this webcomic is not
this is not a webcomic. This is an actual, like...
The point of this web series that will be drawn into a webcomic at some point is we're going to show each other. It's not tell, it's show. And I just sat through this being like, man, this is not good.
What are you talking about? What? It's even kind of like... It's kind of got you like the anime shit. It's kind of got an anime thing going on.
In that there are robots?
No, I mean in the art style. It's got that kind of frenetic thing going.
Oh, I cut out the sound there again. Sarcasm and shame. Hold on. Maybe this will answer. There we go.
Your idea of what good art is baffling to me. Absolutely
okay. All
baffling
right, fine.
to me.
I guess we're fucking getting into this.
Explain this to me.
What's the comic? What's two comics we both like?
Let's see. Kill 6 Billion Demons and...
Yes.
I'm trying to think of the other...
East of West.
Yeah, I haven't read that much of East of West.
But you know what it looks like.
Yeah, for the most part. It's very stylized.
Yeah, and I prefer a very stylized comic over not.
I see.
The thing about this comic is that it's a relatively... It's not like super new. It's from like early 2000s-ish?
I think so.
Or earlier. Yeah. And there is a particular drawing style that was comics in the 90s.
I mean, it's sort of semi-realist. Like, that's...
Yeah. It's this... Not
2004.
Quite, it hits an uncanny valley for me, where it's not the technical quality of realism that I can sort of technically appreciate, but it's cartoonish enough that it kind of shows the worst features of both to me.
Sure.
Also, it's hard to see and admire anything going on in that comic past all of the gore and explosions, and there's a lot of those going on in this comic. Like, when humans die in this comic, they die bad.
They do. Well, they are literally like bioweapons, so...
Well, I mean, there was one guy who... It was literally a train accident. And the dog character that you must love, Sam, so much, pulls what you think is the train conductor or the guy out of the water and saves a life. And he's like, oh, we gotta go home in his broken robot speak. And then the next panel is showing them walking away with the frame back enough to show, oh, that guy's missing his legs and lower half of torso. Look at these cutesy animals who don't recognize what living human beings are anymore.
Are you against the point of the comic? Do you just are you criticizing it for being itself?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Possibly.
Because there's nothing wrong with that. I could make the argument that maybe not objectively, but there's nothing wrong with that point. But you just don't like that.
I think I can like it when it lands well. That just didn't land well for me. Especially since your idea is you empathize with these killing machines. And I don't particularly.
Yeah.
Because see comment above about how they don't recognize what living and not living is. And I mean, as a comic about these three things that I do not empathize with, there are beats that I like.
Wait a second. Jacob, you don't have to empathize with things to like them.
Yeah, you're the one who's saying that it's like, oh man, here's this whole empathy thing going on.
I think you actually misunderstand what I mean by that. I don't mean you have to like them. I just mean you have to have a connection with them. Just because I empathize with Hannibal Lecter doesn't mean that I like him or think he's a good guy.
Maybe you just like cutesy animals for no reason.
We did establish last time that you are a monster. Circumstantial nightmare. Are there animals around? Jacob Waskow.
I only eat animals. Animals are free. Jacob Waskow, a criminal mastermind. He will kill all animals.
I would watch this show. It would be such a train wreck, but I would watch every episode if it's half an episode that gets released.
So you're admitting you would love and watch The Neighborhood, or Neighbors, or whatever the fuck that show's called. The Tommy Wiseau did.
Oh, no. See, I've kind of made a point of not seeking it out.
Season 2's coming out soon.
Yeah, I saw that. So is the James Franco movie.
I think the main difference between, say, these monstrous killing machines and Saitama... Since that's the point you're trying to make.
I'm not. I was just talking in general about every time I've said I have no empathy for someone, you insist that I do. I don't have to.
I just didn't land with me.
Yeah, that's fine. I didn't think it would. This was an experiment.
Well, experiment succeeded.
I think it failed, actually.
Why did you seriously give this to me, being like, man, Jacob's gonna. I really hope Jacob likes this.
No, I kind of assumed that you probably wouldn't, but I thought maybe the experiment was maybe. Just to throw something against the wall, see what sticks.
It's more that I think I have been overexposed to super soldier, bioweapon, whatever, turns back on its creator. I think I might have seen that one too many times. If this came at the ripe young age of whatever age you were at when you read this...
Well, 3 years ago?
Oh, you have no excuse then. What the hell?
This is a widely beloved comic. This was incredibly well received.
This is no Animal Man. You. I give it half thumb up.
Half thumb up, okay.
Half thumb.
Jacob cuts off his thumb and throws it at the comic.
Well, that would fit perfectly
with the aesthetic,
in the style of that comic. And my thumb would
I do not. This is
brown.
I am living in bizarro world where I can I complained endlessly about the nihilistic blood and guts of One Punch Man, and then you're like, oh, I don't really care for the gore.
It's been a tough couple weeks in social studies.
I think we're both just hypocrites, is
Yeah.
what I think.
I think humans are.
Well, I mean, the whole
hypocrites,
point
so-
of this podcast is not about reviews. It's about to test what exactly it is makes us tick in terms of taste, which perhaps brings us to our next subject. So, what did you make me do this week?
I very famously introduced Enemy the Podcast and Nothing More, Jesse Cowell, to share with you a very long game
Very long game.
Cool.
Yeah, I was looking up some stuff.
called Yakuza 0.
The prequel.
The 6th Yakuza game, which is not Yakuza 6, because that's the 7th Yakuza game. So, give us that sweet, sweet summary.
Okay, so short and sweet. Yakuza 0 is the story of a Japanese gangster named Kiryu who is framed for murder and then must work to both regain his own honor and to prevent his like adoptive dad, who is also a Yakuza, from being shamed out of the family business. He does this by randomly beating up street thugs in the street and singing karaoke.
Yes.
And getting lost in a really truly Byzantine plot that gets pretty Shakespearean as it goes along.
Yes, it does. I'm noticing you're missing the second main character. of
Yeah,
this,
well, I'm getting to that. Basically, it's a beat 'em up video game set in Japan in the 1980s, and you punch people, and then you spend a lot of time watching cutscenes.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna come right out and say I okayed it. It's fine.
sure.
I didn't dislike it. I didn't hate it.
C+ to B-.
I wouldn't even see. This is one of those cases where I actually can admit, no, this is good. This is actually well done, and there's even bits I kind of get into, but it's just not for me. Like the beat 'em up stuff is kind of fun, but I had it set on easy mode, so I don't know. That's not really necessarily a fair assessment of it as a brawler video game. And I liked the kind of the twists and turns. I only went through like the first 2 chapters. I actually didn't. I only like saw the very beginning of when you meet the other main character.
Yes.
Because it took about 4 hours to get to the end of the second chapter. But the fights were fun. The mafia story stuff is fun. But it wasn't really for me. It was just like, yep, this is all right.
See,
I suffered miserably on the karaoke though. I got like the worst score.
wow. And I thought here you would actually be a karaoke master.
Well, no, it's just Dance Dance Revolution stuff. It's pressing buttons,
Yeah.
and I'm not familiar enough with the PS anything controller to be like, that's where the X and the square and the triangle is, and I just like fucked it up deeply.
Did you at least like watching it?
Yeah.
Watching Kiryu sing his heart out passionately as like a whole music video breaks out on the screen and he rocks along with his brother
Nishiki.
who betrays him literally the next game.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Excellent. I had a feeling there was some certain context that I was missing.
Well, I started the Yakuza games with 0, so
Oh, really?
those contexts aren't like particularly useful. If you want to talk about Shakespearean plot,
Yeah.
it only goes up from here.
Yeah, it was pretty straightforward. Like there was a real estate deal. It was interestingly, considering how much you didn't really care for Chinatown, it was a very kind of Chinatown sort of plot.
Oh yeah.
Like real estate deal, but more things are going on.
Unlike Chinatown, it doesn't focus on one guy who is kind of not a great person.
Yeah, no. I don't know if Kiryu is a great guy, but he's all right.
Kiryu is like a loyal but dumb dog.
I do like the bit where he expels himself from his mafia family and he just goes out in the rain and he just like collapses. And he's just like, I have fucked everything up. Then he meets a shady real estate broker.
You meet like a huge cast of characters in those 2 chapters. You meet Kiryu. You meet Kiryu's adoptive dad. You meet that guy with a really weird scar on his face. It looks like his face got chopped in half.
Whose name I remember.
And it is?
No, I don't remember at all. You know what I loved, actually? I did like the aesthetic of this game, because I loved the completely trashy Japanese mafia outfits.
Yeah.
Like, all the bosses in, like, the powder blue and those pinstripes. That was just great.
It was the 80s. It was a great time
Yeah.
for everyone
It
involved.
did feel very like Godfather. And I don't actually know that much about like the Yakuza. I would say like the closest comparison is like the genre of films I'm sure this is sort of based on. Because it felt very like Western mafia to me. And I don't know if it's just like that's the nature of the game or if like all organized criminal organizations that pretend to have some form of prestige are basically the same.
I mean, the weird thing about Yakuza games in general is that they all center around one guy named Kiryu, who is
Yeah.
the worst Yakuza in that he never beats up anyone for money, never does anything that's like rehensibly illegal. Like
Well, he
throughout
just
the-
goes around town beating up kids who, or like beating up old ladies and things.
Yeah, it's always like someone who's like, "Hey, I'm gonna beat you up because you're wearing a pinstripe suit."
He's a strangely altruistic gangster.
Yeah, he's just like a really nice guy.
The only scene, I mean, from what I played, the only scene where he's actually like a proper, shitty criminal is he beats that guy at the beginning who ends up to be like the MacGuffin who gets murdered.
Yeah, which is a trope that comes up often in Yakuza games. Usually there is a murder, but oh no, that wasn't the plan all along. It was something to do with fucking real estate. Because there's this huge thing in Tokyo where there's no fucking space. So real estate's really important.
It was funny. I was complaining last time about how I was sick to death of listening to people speak in Japanese. And it actually turns out I'm just sick of people speaking Japanese in anime. Because the voice acting was quite good in this. Especially like the various Yakuza lieutenants and things. Except for although I will say every woman who had a line was just cut right through my soul.
Interesting bit of trivia. You remember Kuze, right?
Yeah,
He's the like really...
He was my favorite character.
He was everyone's favorite character because Kuze is portrayed by, I forget his name. Post-production Sam edited in this name later.
Mr. Black.
And I'm going to introduce you to my new friend, Mr. Kuze. He is an actor and a very like well-known actor from like the 80s. He's like the Japanese equivalent of Sylvester Stallone. Like he's done like this huge number of gangster movies and action movies in general. So everyone was like really hyped to get this guy doing voice acting, and like they use his face to model that character. And so the sound director was like, "Okay, mister, I've watched your movies since I was like fucking 8. I'm gonna make you a great pizza pie. I'm gonna make you the best song in all of Yakuza for you, my honorable man, you." And that's why Kuze's theme is so uproariously dramatic.
It is pretty rad.
As it is. That's the thing, is like a lot of the music in this game is really good.
It's really good. I don't know if is it normally kind of got that 80s sting to it, or is that just because it's set in that time?
Just because it's set in that time, I think.
That's pretty good.
And it's a shame because it's a really good soundtrack.
Yeah. So yeah, I okayed it. It was fine. It was fun while it lasted, but I had no real urge to go forward with it. But what I will ask you, what's eaten me up, because this has been like half the podcast, is I gotta ask, what is the attraction of Japan to you? What pulls you in about that? Is there something in particular, or is it just like a lot of nerd culture has a lot of Japanese anime stuff in it, or is there something to this? Unwrap the secrets of Jacob Waskow to me.
Here's the thing. This feeds into the question I want to ask.
Okay, well there you go. Because I was saying before we recorded that this was going to kind of be like a short episode, because I figured you wouldn't like We Three, but we wouldn't have much to talk about it. And then I okayed Yakuza, and that was it. So okay, let's make it rain.
You mentioned you got to the beginning of the second character in Yakuza.
Yeah, and I just kind of read up on what his deal was, or very, very
Well, no. Did you get to the beginning? The introductory, like, move, like the sort of first cutscene?
Not really.
Okay. We're gonna have to pause this right here. You need to watch it. I'm gonna link this to you right now. We can pause. What do you want to do? Do you want to pause?
No, we can keep the recording going. I can just edit this out. Oh my god. See, why wasn't the whole game this?
Okay, now you understand. That is that moments like that, exactly like the one you just watched, where a eye-patched man gets doused with really expensive liquor and then does like a dance-off fight-off with a rude customer. And that entire fight that I didn't make you watch, he does not throw a single punch. He just moves around this drunken asshole being like, yo, do you want a fresh towel or something? Hey, yo, like, sir, I think you need to sit down. You're getting a bit dizzy here. Whoa, calm down. That is special to me.
And what's Japanese about that?
I just haven't seen it much in Western media in that particular way.
Okay.
I just haven't seen moments like those. And it's a particular kind of comedy in Yakuza specifically, and sometimes in anime. Not often, but sometimes. That is very straight-faced ridiculousness.
Mm-hmm.
The main draw that I hoped you kind of liked in Yakuza 0, which you might not have, is Kiryu cares a lot. He cares
He cares too much.
about everything.
Yeah. No,
about everything. He loves his karaoke as much as he needs to protect the honor of his adopted dad. And it's not just karaoke. It's slot car racing. It's retail management. It's real estate. It's fucking... I can't think of the other mini games. Like, there's tons of shit to do in a Yakuza game. That's just, like, crazy, ridiculously, seriously done. And it's amazing to me. It's hilarious.
So you like mundane, or no, that's the wrong word. You like trivial things treated as if they are incredibly important and find that really funny. And that's something that Japanese media does a lot.
Close, but that's part of it. I like when really serious people are still serious about the things they enjoy that are goofy. Like, I honestly believe, heart in my heart, Kiryu loves karaoke.
Oh yeah, not when I play him. I'm really bad. He's really bad at it when he's me.
But he still cares. He still loves it. He still hangs his head in shame when he sees that bad score. That these hardened criminal crazy people are still people. That's what I love.
Okay. Well, that definitely explains why you like Yakuza. That doesn't quite answer the whole question, but I think that can be an open question for the podcast.
It does explain One Punch Man though, a bit.
A little bit. Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah.
As bonkers as Saitama is, you never think for a moment, oh, he's just like this lampoonish caricature of a superhero. No, he's a guy.
Well, that's interesting because he was the character I was most compelled by, like, because I didn't care about all the other stuff.
Yeah, and I mean the other stuff going on, you can give and you can take. But I think Saitama is an important core to
you can take it or leave it.
Show.
That's interesting.
So yeah, to answer your question, Goro Majima is why I love Japan.
I have to admit, after watching that like 2 minutes of that video, I kind of love him too.
He is amazing. He is an amazing character.
I'm trying to think, like, there are Western tropes like that, but I'm struggling to think of them off the top of my head.
Yeah, like, I'm not going to say that only Japan does this.
No.
Not at all. But my initial source of getting this was Japanese stuff, so that's where I tend to look for it. So, what's the common theme?
Oh, God, what's the common theme?
Killer.
No, we rejected that last time because it was sort of a shallow reading of both of them.
Well, I'm using the other word of killer, not like murder.
Like killer,
like,
cool.
That's killer.
It's killer, man.
Yeah. It's cool. Cool cat. No, you're not liking it.
No, I'm just trying to think if I can think of anything better. You know what? Killer. Let's go with that. Killer.
A lot of people get hurt in both of these.
That is true. They do.
So. Here we are. Here we are again, my friend. I punish you this time, don't I?
Yes, you do.
I do.
We've come to that time again, where a young man's fantasy.
To the shame time. Well, it's funny you say young man's fantasies, but I think you I think you should give me what you're giving to me this week first.
This is going to be another dating game, isn't it? Okay.
Nope, it's not.
It's perhaps even worse. Okay.
Could be.
So I had a few thoughts. And it kind of, I think you'd call me out for cheating it because you said you've heard a bit of it before, and we have a soft ban on music, so, but I'm really tempted.
Lay it on me.
I would like you to listen to Dark Side of the Moon.
All right, I'll do it. I'll listen to it.
Yeah.
That sounds like a great suggestion.
I think you might actually like it because you're into prog rock, and
I probably will like it.
okay, that's all right. Let's try that out. Let's see how that goes.
I feel really bad about what I'm gonna have to make you do now.
When you feel remorse, that's not a good sign.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. Oh,
All right, baby,
man.
give it to me.
I wanna do like something else now.
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
Now I'm committing.
Okay.
I'm committing to your punishment. So Sam,
Whew.
what do you think is the like core ethos of my suggestions to you?
Other than Japan,
Other than what was the core ethos of my "we will never talk about it" suggestion to you?
Dating? Like, no.
Making you feel incredibly uncomfortable.
Making me feel uncomfortable. Okay.
Incredibly uncomfortable. Sam, you are going.
Am I going to be
play...
put on a list?
No,
Okay.
probably not. I don't think.
That's
You are going to play the cult classic business simulation game Unicam Studio.
uh-oh.
May God have mercy on your soul.
Okay. And is this something that you ironically like?
This is something that I think does one thing quite smart.
Okay.
Sam, final thoughts?
Final thoughts.
Or are you looking for the suggestion as we speak?
No, I'll save that for next time. The true depths of horror. I'd like to ask you what your final thoughts are.
You do final
No,
thoughts.
you're much better at it than I am. Let's just lay that out here. You are much better at random one-liners at the end of our podcast than I will ever hope to be.
Well, that sounds like a good thing to end on. Goodbye, everybody.